Okay.
So here we going.
Yes.
Part 2,
We've
the
been
good soil.
talking about the parable of the sower and what we were just getting into.
The Shema.
The Shema. So the one before this good soil that we're entering into, we were talking about the one with the thorns. And when we were reading this separately, one of the things that came to me about this is how Yeshua was probably saying Shema, because he's Hebrew. Shema this, Shema that, and we know what that means is not to just hear, but to do, like an active, an active doing what was heard, an active listening. There's not one or the other, like, oh, I just listened and then I did. It's like synonymous, listening and doing. And so one of the things that stood out to me was that when it said the worries of the world and the seduction of wealth choked the word from the one who fell among the thorns, I told Simi, it made me think of the actual Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu. Like we know in the Shema, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, strength. That word, when you break it down, it's actually talking about your resources. We know our heart and our soul, your strength. It's not just like your physical body. I mean, it is, but it's also your resources, which would go into like how I'm stewarding or using my money and my time and any resource I have. Am I stingy with my house? Or do I open it up for hospitable reasons or, things like that. And I told Simi, it was like, it just all clicked to me. He's basically going over these different types of hearers with the Shema, like in his mind, like, will you give me all of yourself, your full soul? Some of them would give him the soul or, but I don't want to give you my resources, or I don't want to give you my mind. Remember the one that wasn't able to even hear it all because his mind was just so in survival state. He couldn't even hear at all. The worries, you kept hearing that too, the worries of the world, or the fear of man is what the one with persecution, he's like, oh, when persecution came, or it's like you care more about what the others thought, and so we were that was basically what we were talking about. But the good soil was the one who does Shema, the one who would hear and be able to put to practice the things that's heard,
And the beauty of that in the Shema is that you hear and obey, and it says, then you understand. And we have it backwards. We think the moment I understand, then I will obey. And that doesn't work. His ways are not our ways, because he knows that if we hear and we do, as we do, we'll understand. And that's why we do the portions every year. We do it again and again and again. And you think, how dumb can somebody be? You read it and you didn't get it the first time.
Or the feast. We do everything again.
Again and again. It's like, are we dumb? Why is it that we don't get it? Yes, we do. But as we do, we understand more and more and more. But we have to listen and obey. I was listening to one of a teaching, a podcast, and he was breaking down that the Hebrew in that word Shema is to listen, but it doesn't really say obey. But because it is, Hebrew is an action verb, it is implicit that if I listen, I am obeying.
You did what was spoken to you.
Right, because I heard you say, can you bring me a glass of water, please? Or can you come and help me? This is too heavy. And I just listen and stand there. Am I obeying? I did not even listen to you that you are burdened with something that's going to fall and break.
Yeah.
So I obey. I listen and obey by going. Now, do I understand? No. I just heard you scream that, hey, give me a hand. So I come and help you. And as I'm helping you, I understand. Oh, okay. Yes, I see. This is really heavy. I don't know how you did it.
Yeah.
So then I'm understanding as I do that. And then I even have to ask again, where do you want to put it? So I can understand even more and help you more. So there is, but if I just stand there you know, you will grow, you know, tired and break it, and then I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and there's the consequences of that.
It's like listening is the action, or shamaing. I like to use that word because it just is.
ING.
Yeah, well, because our American form of listening is so separated,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but like, it is that fruit, like when someone actually shamas, it's the fruit of understanding, which like, you cannot have counsel, someone who is operating in counsel without understanding, and you can't have understanding without shamaing. Like
Mhm.
it is like a triangle,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, you needed it. Mhm.
Yeah, and it's like you have to, and I think that's why in his parable, when he's like, listen to me, Linda, you know, like, listen to me, Linda. It's like, no, like, hear, understand, you hear him. He's like, he who hears, understand, like, oh, he understood the word, but he didn't understand the word. You know, it's like, you hear him say, listen, hear, understand, and you never hear him say counsel, but it's like, this is what counsel looks like.
Mhm.
Like operating in this manner, you know, I don't know.
Well, think about that. Cancel is the third day
Mhm.
in his resurrection, right?
Fruit,
Mhm.
fruit,
And its fruit is the fruit,
the day of
trees
the
with
trees
fruit
for fruit.
and seed in them, right?
Mhm.
Which is the word in them.
Wow.
Yeah, so there is.
And then the very next parable was about, another parable was about a man who sowed good seeds in his field.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, yeah, so anyway.
Yeah, so now it's important that we understand that this parable has nothing to do with salvation. He's not saying only those that had the good soil are the ones that are going to be, you know, saved one day. This is talking about the kingdom right here, because he's talking about fruit, and some of them gave 160, 30 times. That is here.
Mhm.
So how much am I really harvesting when I heard, I'm not obeying, I'm not doing, I'm not understanding, so I have very little to show,
Mhm.
right?
Or even participate in now, kingdom now. And that, you know, we believe that the kingdom is here now. We're not waiting, you know, and he said that. He said, what did he always say? He said, repent because the kingdom of heaven is near. Like I'm here, I am.
And the kingdom of heaven is in your midst.
Exactly. He said that. And so it's like, he's
It's
speaking
here, right
about
now.
how to hey, everybody, listen, this is how you operate in my kingdom. Come and join it. Like, come and enter in to this kingdom here and now. Like, it's not what you thought it was. It's not about the Roman, you know, it's not about that.
Right.
This is a whole new way of living.
Yeah.
And a whole new way of listening. Like,
yes. And it's sticking with him even when we don't understand. It's you know, you're going through a hard time and you're thinking, but where are you? Why are you letting me go through this? If you really exist, why am I suffering right now? And the only way that we can appease those two areas that we showed before, the survival and the limbic, is by having the mind of Messiah, is getting out of there, sitting in heavenly places, as we read in Ephesians, with Messiah. And even if I don't understand, I trust you. I love that Syrophoenician woman when he says, you know, I didn't come to give you know, to feed the dogs, and she could have taken an offense and said, oh, you're calling me a dog? And she says, but even the dogs eat from the crumbs that fall from the master's table. And he was marveled
her
by
humility.
Yeah. That
taking up that space, right?
Yes. And she's like,
but I have some space to take up.
right.
Yeah.
And he is saying, you know, here it is. Yes. Even when you don't understand, but I need you, but I need even the crumbs. I would be satisfied even with the crumbs. So when we come before him, no matter what, and say, I don't understand this, but I trust you. You're a good father. Somehow you're going to turn this around for the good of those that love you and are called according to your purpose. you will do something with this. I don't know what, but I know you will. I wonder if that's what Sarah was saying when her husband said, she's my sister and she's in a harem.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be any moment my turn, and I do not want to go in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And she probably was saying, oh, Father.
Trust what is, and even then, they didn't really have anything written, so to say trust, it is written, it's like, wait.
I trust you.
Yeah,
I trust you.
literally, like,
Yes.
I think about that all the time, like we have, and even Yeshua had scriptures, and he's the one who said that. He would say, it is written when temptation or trials came, it's like, it is written that blah, blah, blah. It's like, I think about our ancestors who didn't have anything,
Some
but
didn't even know how to read.
but his voice.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, man, like that would be kind of wonderful
In a
to
way.
only know it as
The voice
hearing
of the shepherd. Yeah.
Shema, to
Yeah.
what I heard, hearing him, like all the other noise and, interpretation. It's like, no, like, and I believe that's why it's like Father, Son, Holy Spirit, not Father, Son, Holy Bible. Like we have to listen to the Holy Spirit. Of course, Yeshua is the living word, but anyways, I digress.
Yes. So that is really the basic of this. Are we listening? There is a perfect one in me. I love to do this when I pray the Lord's Prayer, and I say, may your kingdom come, your will be done on this earth. We are earthen vessels as it is in heaven.
In semi.
Because think about it. We are in a limited timeline. There's a beginning, there is an end, but we are also finished in eternity. If you step out of this realm, we're finished. He was slain before the foundation of the world because there was a purpose. It would be accomplished within that timeline, and it will be, and we have written what would it be like, because that already happened.
Right.
We're just living towards it. We haven't, it's
so
quantum physics. So, but at this point, we have to understand that if we do have the end result already being written for us to read it and have hope, because he said Revelation is there to give us hope, not to scare us to death. So if that is to give us hope, then there is a finished Mary Catherine.
Yeah.
And so when you're asking, may your will be done on this earth right now in this timeline, as it is in heaven, the perfect one that you are already there, you are saying, may it happen, Father, may it happen in me. I want to be that I walk in all the deeds that you prepare in advance for me to walk in. All those scriptures come alive in a way that when you're doing the Lord's Prayer, you realize, wow, talking about resources, give us today our daily bread. Our daily bread are those deeds that he prepared in advance for me to walk in. I want them today, Father. Give me that manna. Because remember, the daily bread was the manna.
Right.
And that's by the way,
the heavenly food.
And that is Messiah. Messiah is the manna, right?
He's the bread of life.
He's the bread of life.
They ate him.
If there's any Catholic listening to us, we're not saying that. I was Catholic, by the way. But that is what the Omer is. So the Omer was the amount of manna that they could take every day, except on Fridays, that they took double the portion. So that would be for Shabbat. So when we are counting the Omer now, we don't have the manna like they did, but we have Messiah, who is the word.
Even better.
Yeah, so we're taking in his word. We are allowing it to do what it needs to. I'm taking my portion today. And remember, it says there that we are to count for ourselves. So I can't say, well, Mary Catherine counted, so I'm done. No, she counts for herself. I count for myself. I actually put it in, it's in all of them. It's in the portion, in the cafe team, and the girls.
Facebook, Instagram.
And you'll find it anywhere you find my name. Because I want to sojourn with you. I like going together, but you still have to count it for yourself.
Mhm.
So we are counting every day until we get to
The outpouring.
Shavuot, to that day of Pentecost. And think about this, it's 5 weeks, right? It's 50 days. So what is the number 5 representing?
Grace.
Grace, right? And what is 10?
I don't know.
10 days of trial, of
awe.
testing, of during
The
the
10
days
days
of
of
awe, you are searching your heart for
Mm.
anything that doesn't need to be there. So he gives us 5 weeks of grace.
But it tests you too.
And it does. It
Ooh, have I
tests
been
us.
tested this?
Yes.
You know I have.
Yes, me too. It's just
I've passed some too.
yes, we've had some victories. We've won some scrimmages. But that is the beauty of it. So we take in the
Mhm.
manna every day. We pick at nighttime, you
It's
know.
like our vitamin.
Yeah, we get our portion for the day and we let it do what it needs to do. And as we do that, then the real me comes
It
out.
strengthens your inner man.
It does. That is prebiotics, probiotics, and everything in between.
Mhm.
Is just awesome. It's pure nourishment to our inner being, right? To our soul.
Mhm.
And then we are a little better than the day before and a little better. And then when we slow down to count, that's why he wants us to count, is because the brain, if I just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9,
You don't process.
it's all cortex.
Mhm.
I am not processing. But if I stop and I do a little, juggling or writing in some kind of doodling or whatever,
Well, associating it.
it
with-
slows, yeah. And you go into the deep part of your brain
Mhm.
where your memory is.
Active. It's like what when you and it's traditional, it's like, oh, this week represents like what you're saying, bonding or, whatever. And like some people could get a little upset about those traditions, but at the same time, it's so deep that associating a number with or like with the creation gospel, a lot of us here love creation gospel. It's like 5 is grace because I know this and I know that. And, or I know on day 5, this is what was created and this is what was done and the birds and the flock,
And I love them because they go, how do they move?
Mhm.
By the spirit, by the current.
And they sow seed too.
Yeah, they do.
The
They take it from
birds,
one
yes.
place to another.
And so it's just like when we're able to slow ourselves enough to hear these things, the processing is just so much, it's
Rich.
so much richer. And it is this soil, it is fruit bearing.
Yeah.
I mean, and so
think about it. The birds pick up the seed in the first part of the parable, right?
And day 3, yeah.
Yeah, and then what happens, in the interpretation of it says, and the evil one takes.
Oh, yes, yeah. The birds
But-
ate the seed, or the devil or the evil one came and got the others.
Right.
Mhm.
So if you think about it, if I did not do anything, I listened, but I didn't obey, I never understood. That's why they don't have understanding.
Mhm.
And does the word,
It was never wasted.
no, the birds come and take it
That
and
he
we'll take it,
provided.
yeah, either for their nourishment
sparrow.
or for them to take it somewhere else. That part of the evil, I want you to understand this. When the father talked to Cain, he said, the sin is crouching at the door, and the door is Messiah, is outside. Sin is not inside, it's outside, trying to get you, for you to open the door and let him in, and you fellowship with that sin, and then it becomes part of you because you're doing it.
It enters in.
It enters in. But he says you must master it. So when that means that, those that when the evil one took it, it's what that implies is that word that I should have obeyed and listen and obey and actually do something with it and be able to understand what was the seed, there for all of it, what was it all about, or to actually give fruit out of it, is to grow into fruit, is that sometimes those are lies that I believe. Oh no, I just can't do that. I don't have it, so and so, she's so anointed, but I'm not, and I can't do that, and I just don't remember things, or we believe all these lies, and those are that sin crouching at the door, lying to us, because the devil is the father of lies, not of people. He cannot reproduce. Only God can do that. So those lies, we entertain them and we nourish them, and sometimes it are our little pet that we actually water and see them grow. And
It's like when I was a teenager, I remember I would be sad about something. And it was like I wanted to relish in it, and I would listen to all the sad songs and let myself be all depressed. It's like, why am I putting myself in a pit? I mean, like, I would think that in my
pineapple ice cream.
why am I petting
Yeah.
this lie? Like, we do that.
Right. So what did we talk about in last month? So we asked, is it true?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Right.
The questions, the 5 questions that we've got.
So you need to work on that and
make it a habit.
Make it a habit. So it comes in, is it true? It's like, oh, nobody loves me.
Is it 100% true?
Well, there may be some people that don't love you, but is it 100%? Everybody, there is not a soul in the world that doesn't love you.
Right.
That does love you, or even let's say there's nobody in the world that loves me. Who does love me?
Right.
My father loves us.
It grounds you when you ask your brain questions. It actually pulls you out of that survival mode. Anyway, you have to.
So then your third question is, how do you feel when you think that nobody loves me? Oh, horrible. I
feel all the feels.
Yeah, and you feel horrible. You feel not worthy, you feel abandoned, you feel neglected, you feel little, you feel whatever, all those things, because there's nobody that loves you, right? So, but what happens, for a question, what happens if that was not the truth? If the opposite of that, oh, yes,
if everybody
loves me, or, there is people that actually love me. There is the God of the universe that loves me.
And then it boosts you up.
Yeah. So then number 5, how do I make that work for me?
Reality.
That truth of it is like, you know what? It is written, he will never leave me nor forsake me. You can go to Rome and say, there is no famine, there is no sword, there is no demons, there is no angels, there is nothing created. And it's a lot more than that, but nothing created. That means even the devil was created, right? So nothing can separate me from the love of my Father that is in Yeshua, the Messiah. Boom. That's it. You feel great. You feel like you can conquer the world.
Standing on truth again.
So that needs to be that inner process.
And so to wrap this all up, because I think we're about done, like, to bring this back into here we are, we're like, oh, we're talking about the spirit. And you're probably like, wait, there's so much involved with this inner man and this mind, and it still seems like we're in the mind, but it's actually the spirit. And it's like, how the reason this is why all this anyway, why this talk? And it's like, because
we are in the mind and spirit too.
Right. Yeah, it's synonymous, and we were talking about how in the Hebrew there is not a word for brain. There's not even like your heart.
Mind.
It was like, mind, heart. It's all kind of synonymous, but the inner man, like the importance of subduing that inner man, which would be our instincts and things, doing these character training helps to, and it helps us to subdue that inner man, so that that spirit man can be what's operating, that can be what's in self-control and calm and listening to the voice, seated with the Messiah. Our thoughts are taken captive by Yeshua. Like, all these other things aren't attainable if the inner man isn't
Yeah,
subdued.
appeased and subdued, and that is on day 6, man and beast were created. So that beast is there, is a vehicle, is there to take us places. We're supposed to ride the beast. The beast is not supposed to ride us.
Yeah. So
we're working on next month. We will talk about the bride. Today, we did touch on that because on Shavuot is the betrothal. So the father gives us the covenant and we actually say, I do. So I hope you have an awesome Shavuot and you renew your vows before the father and you commit yourself to listen and obey so that we will be able to understand better.
And we do want to let you know, we have a after party with this call now. So like from here on out, anytime you're on a call with us, we will have an instant after party for a few minutes. If anybody wants to stay on, we'll cut the recording and then, you can come talk. We can talk about what's been discussed or whatever questions, comments you have. So we'll cut this recording and then moving forward, we'll continue with after parties.
Okay. See you next month. Have a great Shavuot.